Mic check 1, 2. Everybody good out there? Welcome to Coach Pruitt's Monday press conference. Coach will make opening statement, and then we'll take questions as usual. Please hit the raise your hand function, and we'll call on you. Coach.
Just reviewing Saturday's game, looking at the first half, I thought we'd done some things really well. I thought we ran the ball extremely well in the first half. But as you look at the way the game played out, and just starting in the first half, obviously didn't create enough explosive plays in the throw game. We as a coaching staff have to do a much better job creating opportunities for our guys. We have some really good playmakers on the outside. I felt the way the box count was there that our offensive line done a really nice job in the first half. But I felt like there were some plays out there on the perimeter that we've got to be able to call them and dial them up to give the guys an opportunity to have success, and that's on us as a coaching staff to get that done. The second half offensively, had a couple of penalties there, probably on some opportunities when we did throw the ball. Didn't make a couple of throws there, didn't pull the trigger there. Obviously, Jarrett got hurt there in the third quarter and went out of the game. But to me, just philosophically, offensively, we've got to be much more aggressive. Got to push the ball down the field, and that's something that we've talked about as a staff and have continued to talk about it. We've got to be able to give our kids an opportunity to have success doing that. Defensively, you look for 3 out of 4 quarters. I thought our guys played pretty good. But in the third quarter there, starting with the opening drive of the second half, third downs were 3rd and 2, 3, and 5, whereas in the first half we kept them in a little longer down in distances. Felt like we had a chance to get off the field twice there and didn't execute calls like we need to. And then obviously there's 2 plays there. One play down the sideline where the kid comes in bounds and just a scramble, and where we got everybody covered and lose a guy on the scramble drill back there that gives up 2 explosive plays that result in 14 points. And then, I think there's one deal where there's a pass interference called on us that put them in position to kick a field goal there to make 24 points. But going back, looking at it, just again, need to play cleaner on defense, and I felt like our guys done that for the majority of the game. We just had a couple of mistakes there in the game, and they took advantage of it, and something that we've got to eliminate. So with that, I'll take any questions.
David Evans first, and then Blake.
Well, I don't know if y'all can't hear me, I'll go ahead and comment on Texas A&M too. Just looking at their tape over the last day, one of the more complete teams that I've seen in our league. Very familiar working for Jimbo in the past. Offensively, Kellen Mond seems like he's been playing there forever. Isaiah Spiller, along with the other running backs, they play 3 running backs, are very talented, got a huge offensive line. I think they're giving up the least amount of sacks in the SEC. Got playmakers on the outside defensively. They create a lot of negative plays. Have been, when it comes to production, I think they're probably number 1 in our conference or 2 defensively. So be a tremendous challenge for us. And then special teams, when you look at them, they've got really good return guys and they've got good specialists. So we'll need to find a way to create an advantage in the kicking game.
All right, questions. We'll go to Mike Wilson and David Ubben.
Yeah, Jeremy, it seemed like you guys employed kind of a different way of signaling offensive points in Saturday. What was the reasoning for going with those placards on the sideline?
Well, in this league, when you've been in it a while, you have guys that change staffs, and over the course of a season. It's not unusual to mix up your signals. It's part of the game. People, just like in baseball, they try to steal signals. So just trying to change it up.
Is that something you anticipate using moving forward, or was that Arkansas specific then?
Well, it's something that we've done in the past. I think everybody does that. So obviously with the familiarity with last week's staff with Arkansas, with Coach Pittman and Coach Chaney, it's something that we just felt like we needed to do.
David.
Jeremy, some of the execution issues, especially the offense in the second half and some of the defensive busts on the back end, why do you feel like those are happening right now for you guys?
Well, we didn't have defensive bust in the back end. Had a guy, really played really good technique, got the guy out of bounds, and the guy kind of pulled himself away there to get back in bounds and caught the ball on us. And then, we had the guy guarded in the back end. We just took our eyes off the guy on the scramble there. So scramble rule is something that we do every week. Offensively, as the game goes, there's more and more guys in there, and they get to play in man-to-man, and we have to take advantage of it. We got good skilled players on the outside, and it's something that we've done where we've created some big plays in games over the season. But we've got to be more aggressive to do that.
Austin Price, then Blake Topmeyer.
Coach, how do you become more creative on offense? And do you feel the way you all are playing offense with kind of ball control and run it a lot, that the margin for error for the defense is even tighter?
Well, listen, offensively, the name of the game is scoring points. You can do it a bunch of different ways. You can run it every snap, or you can throw it every snap, right? It's my belief that you probably need to be able to do both. And you've got to mix it in there, and you've got to keep the defense on their heels. And when you do that, sometimes you got to throw play action passes or drop back passes on first down. And when you do that, you got to take advantage of it. If they guard them, you got to take the check downs. You can't get holding calls. We've got to call an aggressive game, and when we do that, we've got to execute it to soften the other team up.
Jeremy, what's the latest on Jarrett's health, and do you expect to have him for Saturday?
It's day to day. Obviously, our medical staff didn't feel like it was in his best interest to play the rest of the game, so we held him out, and so it'll be day to day this week.
What's the plan if he's unable to go? How do you prepare for that this week?
Right. So we'll work the other guys and see how we develop this week and work a good game plan that fits all of those guys.
Vince Ferrar, then Brent Hubbs.
Jeremy, you often talk about, after you watch the tape, things that you as a team and as a coaching staff maybe need to do different or better. Did you look back at all on that decision to go for it on fourth down late in that game? And do you view it any differently after watching the tape at all and thinking about it? And also, second part to that, is there someone that maybe those in-game decisions you lean on at all on the coaching staff, or is that 100% you on the go?
Well, obviously you always go back and do quality control each game. And when you're down 2 scores, there's a thought and all that. Do you take the points? Do you go for it? Saturday I elected to go for it. The reasoning was where we were at on the field, and we felt like we had a good call for that down and distance. We had a good idea for what they would be in, even in the back end of the game. There was a thought when there's 40 seconds left to kick a field goal and do an onside kick there. Look, obviously it didn't work, right? So when it don't work, you want to do the other thing. But it's something that we philosophically, we look at all during the off season and see where we're at. And we know kind of what we're going to do during the game. So, if I had it back, absolutely, I would kicked it now. We didn't get the first down.
Brent?
Coach, you mentioned that, change and philosophically you need to be more aggressive on offense. What kind of led you guys to maybe go into a lack of aggressiveness or a bit of a shell offensively? Is that just trust in the quarterback position? Was that because of the 2 pick sixes at Kentucky? Because you mentioned you had explosive plays early in the year. What kind of changed the offensive philosophy the last couple of weeks?
No, I think, we had explosive plays against Alabama. You kind of get into that game Saturday, and we're controlling the ball. It's 13-0, which, it's my belief that you got to be able to do both. You got to score touchdowns in this league, and try to eliminate as many field goals as you can. But we didn't. But we had good control of the game. But we kept it close by doing that. And in the second half, we didn't run the ball near as effectively as we did in the first half. And within a matter of one drive and one play there, we go from leading 13-0 to 14-13. One thing that I've said all along, you always want to coach aggressively. Whether you're calling a defense, you want to make the other team have to react to you, and it's something that we've got to do a better job of, really, in all 3 phases.
And as a follow-up, Coach, any thought on the third quarter struggles? Just how you can rectify that? Has that become a mental thing? What do you look at with just you guys' inability to start the second half the right way or in a productive way?
Well, if you look, I believe offensively, for whatever reason, we've had turnovers in that quarter. We did in Saturday, but turnovers and penalties. It's obviously something that if you're not doing it well, you really want to go back and try to figure out why. And we've done that. We've been doing that. Offensively, as a game goes, you see the plays that are going good. You mark them down to create a script for the second half. You meet with it at halftime, get you a good opening script. But Saturday when we come out the second half, we get a false start, gets us in a 2nd and 16. Have 2 good plays there, but we end up being 4th and 3. So got to do a better job there defensively. Just getting off the field on 3rd down and that on the first drive there, and obviously the 2 plays that I previously talked about.
Go to Patrick Brown and then Trey Wallace.
Jeremy, it seems like you guys have given up a lot of completions and yards on slant patterns and over the middle of the field defensively. Is that a technique issue? Is it execution? Or what do you guys need to do to maybe shore up that part of your defense?
Well, probably a little bit of all of it. If you're going to play middle of the field coverage, people are going to attack you with slants or what I call chop routes, inside fades. So they're basically working off the leverage. You have to be able to play man-to-man if you're going to be really good on defense. And by playing man-to-man with a middle field safety, that's the 2 things that people are going to attack. There's lots of times in the game that we play split safety coverage, and you can take that away. If you're going to do that, then you got to be able to stop the run with 6 guys in the box or find a way to hide to get the 7th guy. So, and there's lots of indications from formations that teams get in. And Saturday, Arkansas got in a couple of those formations, and you kind of anticipate these plays are coming. We've got to do a better job getting our guys prepared to understand that.
Jeremy, Brown was back home to you.
Bill, I can't hear anybody.
Trey, you're a little choppy. We'll go to Teresa Walker next. We'll come back to you, Trey.
Coach, you talked a little bit about Saturday night, but now you've got a team that's lost 4 straight. You've got Texas A&M coming in on Saturday. How do you try to, snap this skid and get things turned around in a game week?
Well, you just go back and you look at the things that you're doing well, and you want to continue to do those. You want to do the things that you believe in. If you're not executing, is it an execution issue? Is it a philosophical issue? Is it a personnel issue? All those things. You got to go back and look and see. Something that we do after the games that we win, we do the same stuff. We keep trying to find a way to improve our football team. You know, I feel like that if you look at this last week, you know, it's kind of just what I said. We have to be more explosive on offense. You're not going to win games in this league scoring 13 points. We didn't turn the ball over, but we've got to be more explosive. And defensively, it's kind of what I said. You got to get off the field on third down, and you can't give up, you know, big plays. You got to make them earn it.
All right, back to Trey.
Jeremy, how would you assess quarterback development over the last 2.5 years as you as head coach? JT Shrout didn't make the trip to Arkansas. Brian Maurer is kind of sporadic with the football. Just overall, do you think that those guys should maybe be a little bit further along after 2.5 years in your program?
Well, Brian's not been here 2.5 years. You know, he was here last fall. You know, he missed fall camp with being in quarantine and having a hamstring. So I don't think it's really fair to put him in that category. The circumstances at quarterback are relative to everybody around you. So, you know, it takes protection. It takes a good run game. It takes wide receivers that you've got some chemistry with, you know. So I'm not sure that this fall's body of work for those guys is really fair based off the circumstances that those guys were put in during fall camp and summer and without spring ball. So, you know, when you look at the guys in our league, most of the time, the guys that are playing really well at that position are guys that probably have a little bit of experience with them. Or they're playing on a team that has a lot of experience, you know, so it can go either way. Right. And I think all of those guys have lots of talent. They work hard every single day. And as long as they continue to do that, they're going to develop and they'll have a chance to be good players one day.
We'll go Gustavo, then Ben McKee.
Coach, you speak about third downs. Last Saturday, Tennessee only completed 5 out of 15 on third down. Do you see this aggressiveness has to be more on third downs to get the next step?
Well, I think we have to, you know, you really don't want 15 third downs in a game to start with. Probably 11's the number, maybe 10 to 11 there. You know, you want to stay out of third and longs. You want to be in third and 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. If you just look, you're probably have a better opportunity to convert those than you do the longer down and distances. So that's something that we've got. So we got to be more efficient on first and second down and stay out of as many third downs.
Coach, you had some guys missing in the secondary over the weekend. Theo Jackson looked like he played the star in place of Sean Schamberger, and then Kenneth George Jr. stepped in for Alontae Taylor. What are the statuses of Alontae Taylor and Sean Schamberger, and how do you think those guys performed in their absence?
Well, you know, Theo's a guy that has really played. He's played star, he's played money, he's played safety. He really can play any one of those positions. He's a smart guy. You know, he made some plays in the game Saturday. He probably gave up a couple of plays that he'll work hard to fix. And, you know, Kenneth George has played off and on for us for the last year. And when he's played, he's been really consistent. I didn't feel like that from a technical standpoint, that was probably one of his better games. We got to work hard to clean him up on some of his technique. You know, and Alontae and Sean are guys that have really kind of played a lot of ball the last couple of years, unfortunately. You know, both of them have been in and out of the lineup this year that has probably hurt their development as players and probably a little bit of the chemistry in the back end.
Back to David Ubben and then Mike Wilson.
Jeremy, a couple questions. One, what did you feel like was going wrong for the offense in the early part of that second half with the lack of first downs at Arkansas? And then also, what went into the decision to not bring Schamberger?
Well, just every week we decide who we're going to bring on the trip. So we have 120 guys. So we take 70 each week based off circumstances. Sean didn't come this week. And then offensively, there's a couple of, I think the second drive we had in the game there in the third quarter, might have been the third drive. I can't remember one of them. We 3rd and 2, we had a rocket sweep going by there that Brian should have pitched the ball there based off the count that could have ran there. Those little things like that. We've had a couple of things there on the offensive side that probably kept us from getting going.
Mike?
Yeah, Jeremy, Savion Williams announced he was entering his name in the transfer portal sometime Saturday night. What was your understanding of that decision, and what had you seen from Savion in your couple of weeks coaching the defensive line?
I thought he improved, in those 2 games. It's again, the circumstances surrounding each individual is probably different when you talk about opportunities really over the last 6 or 7 months. And based off some of the circumstances, his were limited. Savion's a good kid that works hard, and I'll help him in any way that I possibly can.
Last 2 questions will go to Tim Owens and Blake Topmeyer.
Jeremy, obviously with a 4-game losing streak, Vol Nation's getting a little restless. What do you say to them to say, hey, relax, we're getting this thing turned around?
Well, I sure wouldn't say that. That'd be the first thing. Why, to me, I'm just as restless as they are, so I think everybody's kind of in this together. We all want the same things. It's my name's at the head of the organization, right? I understand that. And we as a group in this organization, we got to find a way to get it going and play the right way and finish the right way. And that's on me as the coach and to get it going. And we're going to work hard to do that.
Blake?
Jeremy, 2 things. One, Latrell Bumpus, I think he exited Saturday's game. What's going on with him? And then do you feel like Harrison Bailey showed you enough there in the 4th quarter to maybe get consideration in moving up the depth chart?
It was unfortunate with Latrell. During warm-up, somebody fell into his leg there, and he's probably going to miss the rest of the season. So that's unfortunate for him. And I thought Harrison, based off the circumstance, done a really nice job there. They were dropping 8. He took what they gave him. He didn't try to force the ball until basically the time on the clock forced him to do that. So I thought that was promising for him.
So is Bumpus a knee situation?
Yes, he'll he's probably going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So based off the season, that's probably will be it for this year.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.